heated exchange between Republican Senator Josh Hawley and OBGYN Dr. Nisha Verma in a hearing regarding chemical abortion drugs has gone absolutely viral online after the medical professional struggled to answer the understandably extremely complex and difficult question, can men get pregnant?
So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female with...
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things.
They went on like that for 5 minutes. Here's the thing. I didn't see a lot of people defending the good doctor. Actually, the opposite. Even those on her side seemed a little chagrined by the exchange, which came as the Supreme Court seems poised to ban trans athletes from women's sports. Is the woke movement over? A lot to discuss. To break it all down, let's welcome in National Review columnist Caroline Downey. Caroline, thank you so much for being here. Is woke over?
Well, Trump had a lot of political victories at the ballot box in 2024. I think we could say that was a referendum on woke partially. They rejected gender ideology at the ballot box, the American people. However, the medical schools, the medical apparatus is obviously still captured by gender ideology. And really what that exchange with Josh Hawley showed is that this is an ongoing exercise in suicidal empathy. We're seeing this suicidal empathy play out throughout our culture. We're seeing it in the streets right now, responding to the ICE raids. And it's like these medical institutions and these doctors clearly who are being recruited to replace the old generation of doctors who, when they retire, this is going to be the standard, I'm pretty sure, because as much as Trump has tried to challenge a lot of these schools to de-wokeify themselves, I think a lot of it is going to stick. It's not necessarily, he doesn't have total control over how the administration's run. And the funny thing is they're all doing it in the name of moral superiority, right? They're trying to accommodate this very small minority of transgender identifying individuals. So they're afraid to answer a basic biological question. Can men get pregnant? But there's nothing moral about what they're doing. I've interviewed so many detransitioners over the years, and they all tell me the exact same thing, which is that when they were very young, when they had not reached full cognitive function, they were still quite impressionable kids. Doctors, who presumably had similar training to the good doctor here, persuaded them, encouraged them to go under the knife before a period of watchful waiting, before they could have real therapy to examine their underlying psychological conditions, which most of them have them, whether it's bipolar disorder or other things. They rushed them into surgery, and now they have permanent damage, emotionally and physically.
Yeah, on the entertainment front, on a similar question, there was a clip in this very popular show, Landman, this week, and it seemed to take on the woke stuff as well. Let's play that.
So what are your pronouns?
My pronouns? Well, I hope that's pretty clear.
Yeah, I don't make assumptions. You could identify as a sunflower.
You know, I've been told I look like one.
I use they, them.
You know, I've always been curious. Why they, them? Because there's just one of you, and those are plural pronouns. Just never really understood the hoopla of pronouns.
I was very surprised to see this in a Netflix show. What was your reaction?
So I've seen parts of this show. A part of me feels like the conservative pandering is a little heavy-handed. It's also about fossil fuels and the oil industry. It's not exactly a pro-alternative energy show, right? But when it comes to the trans insanity and how takes place in Texas, this girl Ainsley went to Texas Christian University, and she's saying to this roommate, well, she goes to the administrator. And I think what that scene that's going so viral right now, that's a window into the average college administration and how they are so committed to LGBT activism because they don't want to be accused of being bigots or not being allies, that they will put their rights, their preferences over any other students. It's not just that this student asked for her to address her by her gender-preferred pronouns. She actually asked her to turn the lights off during meditation. She asked her not to listen to music. So there was a laundry list of demands, and I think that tends to come with the territory.
Okay, so you're throwing cold water on all of my proofs that woke is over. You don't like the Hawley thing. You said that this is not proof of too much. But what about this? We have a poll that shows that young people identifying as non-binary is absolutely plummeting. Look at that peak. And it's just kind of in this, you know, this looks to me like the best evidence that we might be moving in a different direction as a society. What say you?
That's definitely positive news. I do think that it was a trend. It was part of the social contagion to identify as non-binary for a while, and I think that fad has faded. Gen Z especially, they're dealing with isolation. They are kind of atomized in society. They're trying to find new ways to connect with their peers. There's also a romantic recession that Gen Z's been dealing with, and I think if we just kind of get rid of all these silly identity politics things that are kind of clouding our lives, it'd be a lot easier to just, I mean, think what Gen Z really craves is normalness in at least some parts. I think social media, you're seeing a big trend of Gen Z unplugging from social media. That's the new thing to flex. Not any particular like luxury item, but I am offline. I'm offline and I'm proud of it. And I think that's because we're seeking kind of real human connection. And I think non-binary was a crutch for Gen Z for a long time to lean on. When reality is they do want to touch grass.
They want to touch grass, they want community, they want to log off. They want the kinds of things that we all want and yet for so long seemed out of reach. And so that's some good news. I'm very happy to hear that. Caroline Downey, thank you so much for joining us. What a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.